The storm had been building all day over the dusty plains outside Willow Creek, the kind that rolled in slow but heavy, until the sky turned the color of old pewter and the air smelled like rain and trouble. Elias Boone was fixing the north fence when he heard the distant thud of hooves, a rhythm too deliberate to be a stray rider passing through. His boy, Daniel, just 8 years old, with a head full of dreams and a face that still hadn't learned to hide its hurt, was sitting on the porch, carving a piece of pine into something he called a horse but looked more like a crooked boot. They'd been alone for a year now, since Mary's passing. Folks in town had offered help, but it always came with pity in their eyes or whispers behind their hands. Elias had gotten used to silence, to doing things himself, until the day she came. She was tall, taller than most men he knew, with a stride like she owned the ground she walked on. Her coat was long, her hat shadowing her face, but when she stopped at the gate and looked straight at him, there was nothing uncertain in her voice. "Marry me, cowboy," she said. "I'll raise your son like my own." Elias just stared, one hand resting on the fence post, the other brushing the sweat from his brow. "I'm sorry, who are you?" The woman didn't flinch. She swung off her horse, boots hitting the dirt like a hammer on an anvil, and stepped forward. "Name's Claire Rollins. Folks call me the Widowmaker, but don't let that fool you. I've buried 2 husbands, yes, but neither by my own hand. One fell to fever, the other to a bullet meant for me. I'm not here for romance, Boone. I'm here to make a deal." Elias almost laughed, but there was something in her eyes, fierce, steady, that made him keep his mouth shut. Claire glanced toward the porch, where Daniel was watching with wide eyes, then back at Elias. "I hear tell you're raising that boy on your own. That's a hard life for a man who's got cattle to run and fences to mend. I can cook, clean, ride as good as any ranch hand, and shoot better than most. In exchange for your name, I'll make sure your boy grows up with a woman's care." It was the boldest thing Elias had ever heard, and in a town like Willow Creek, boldness was almost as dangerous as weakness. He crossed his arms, narrowing his eyes. "What's in it for you?" Claire's lips curled into the ghost of a smile. "A place that's mine. I'm tired of wandering from job to job, sleeping in rooms that smell of other people's mistakes. I want roots. And your ranch is as good a place as any to plant 'em." Daniel's voice broke in from the porch. "Pa, can she stay?" That was the first crack in Elias's armor. He'd seen his boy look at other children's mothers in town with that quiet longing he never spoke aloud. And here was this towering stranger, offering something Elias didn't even know how to ask for. Against his better judgment, he said, "All right. You can stay. But this ain't a love story. You understand that?" Claire nodded once. "I'm not asking for love. I'm offering a family." And just like that, she moved into their lives as if she'd always been meant to. She cooked meals that didn't come from a can, patched Daniel's shirts without being asked, and had the boy laughing more in 2 weeks than Elias had seen in the last year. She was strict, too, made Daniel do his chores, stand straight, speak plain, but every night, she read to him by lamplight, her deep voice wrapping around the words like a warm blanket. The town didn't know what to make of it. Some said Elias had lost his mind. Others whispered that Claire must have some hidden angle. But whispers didn't matter much when, one spring afternoon, a group of drifters tried to run off with half Elias's cattle while he was out mending the south fence. Claire spotted them from the porch, grabbed her rifle, and by the time Elias got back, she'd driven the thieves off with shots so precise they left the herd untouched. Daniel told everyone in town about it, eyes shining with pride, and suddenly, the Widowmaker wasn't just a stranger, she was a boon. Months passed, and something shifted. The ranch ran smoother. The boy smiled more. And Elias, though he'd never say it aloud, began to notice the way Claire's laughter could break through even his darkest moods. She never asked for more than the promise they'd made, but some nights, when the lamp burned low and the boy was asleep, Elias would catch her looking at him like she was wondering what it might be like if this was a love story after all. Some folks still talk about the day she rode into Boone Ranch and made that outrageous proposal. But the ones who know them best will tell you the truth. That towering stranger didn't just marry a cowboy. She built a family out of a man's grief and a boy's longing, and in doing so, she gave herself the home she'd been searching for all along. And if this story reminded you that sometimes the wildest offers lead to the truest bonds, then hit that subscribe button. More tales from the Old West are riding your way, and each one proves that even out here, where the land is rough and the living's harder, love can still take root in the unlikeliest of soil.